Hello guys, welcome back to TV. If this is your first time visiting our channel, please do well to click the subscription button and turn on the notification bell. And if you are a returning viewer, I sincerely want to tell you I love you, amazing, thank you so much. I do not take your support for granted at all. Every week we drop amazing content here which revolves around influence. We go the extra mile to bring your influencers' lives, their value, their classes, the master classes, their events, bring them to your doorpost. So on today's episode, I asked a question because there's been so much over time. There's been so much views about what young persons think or what young persons should think about multitasking and doing several things. So on the topic, I met many amazing thought leaders. I met many amazing mentors, many role models, many coaches. And I got their views on what they think on multitasking. I put the question this way: question is, do you think it's better for young people to have one great skill they are A plus at, or many skills they are C at? There is C at and why. A signifying utmost or highest level obtainable, and C signifying average. So, straight to point. Let's move.
Okay, so hello, Mr. Daniel. So your question is if it's better for young people to have one great skill they are at, that's A plus, yeah, at A plus level, or is it better to have skills that they are at C and Y? So clearly, this is so obvious. Of course, it is way better for you to have a skill and be very good in it than for you to have so many skills and be average at it, at them rather. Now, the reason is because if a young person is skilled, he has a particular skill and he's very skilled at it, more like an expertise at it, it means that that person will be able to command more value. It means that that person has a market value. The person is marketable. But if this person does not have that expertise and rather has an average skill, it's useless, because for crying out loud, this person would not be able to gain value from what he or she has. So it is it is smarter to be good at exceptional at a skill. And now, mind you, there is no such thing as perfection. Somebody cannot be perfect at a particular skill. You can be very good. You can qualify for an expert, and then you just have to keep working at it. So, you being at an A level does not mean that you have arrived. It also means that you should be working. I give you an instance. Right now, in the world, the biggest new thing is tech tech skills. The petroleum and gas industry is not as powerful or as marketable as it used to be in the past. You see jobs springing up and there, remote jobs, remote works, and a lot of young people are being paid handsomely more than what the petroleum industry would have given to them. So imagine if such a person picks a skill, let's say is a full stack developer, and he's very good. For crying out loud, you're going to be exceptional, and you're going to feel fulfilled. Mind you, the basis of life is happiness. So if I have so many skills and I'm not happy, I'm sad and I'm hungry. But if I am very good at one particular thing and then I put it out and then it's working fine, for crying out loud, I'll be good to go. I will feel fulfilled and I'll live a happy life.
I believe that every person has innate abilities, numerous innate abilities that were deposited in them by God. And because of this, now that you're here, how are you going to use those abilities? It is by honing your talents, those innate abilities. And when you hone those talents, you convert them to skills. So I believe also that it is important that you hone as many of your talents and convert as many of your talents to skills as you can. It wouldn't do for you to sit on one singular skill. So what if that particular skill that you have mastered and you are so good at, what if it's not what is in demand? What if it's not what what will bring you the most? What are you going to do? I think that developing as many skills as you can makes you dexterous. It makes you an all-rounder. Even though you might be more perfect in one, you might be so excellent in one, like your A++ in one, but it's also important that you have support skills, because opportunity could come and is targeting the other ones and not the one that you were master at. But because you are also good at 2 or 3 or 4 other skills, you can put another foot forward. So to answer the to answer the question, should one be a master in one skill or go ahead and develop more? I would say it's important, because you have the ability, you have the expanding ability to hone more skills, to develop more skills. So I would say to everyone, especially young people, to acquire as many skills as they can, especially when you're still young and you're healthy, you're strong, you can understand these things, your brain is still very sharp. You can go ahead and develop as many skills as possible, such that when opportunity comes and is not for this one or the other one, you can still grab it. Because if you don't do that, it will be tantamount to limiting yourself. So when something else comes, you would say, I only know how to do one thing, I cannot do this. So it boils down to you limiting yourself. Even when we look at the parable where a master traveled and gave his servants some talents, as we were told, those talents, okay, could be considered as, things that we know how to do better than others. So some of them converted those talents into skills and made the talent begin to yield harvest for them, or returns or revenue. And when the master came back, those of them that had more were better rewarded than the people who had less. So when you have more seed in your hand, you have more seeds in your hands to sow, and you go out at the same time to sow, the other person who has less will definitely have less harvest, more than the person that has more seeds. So it's important to develop as many skills as you can.
For starters, I would like to point out that I wrote down I tackled down most of the things I am going to say here in my recent book. So now, when you ask questions, sometimes it's very pertinent that you look at the circumstances surrounding the the existence of the question. So we're talking about if young people are supposed to do something. Now we're asking young people from where? Because all young people are not the same, right? So it's okay to note that we're looking at young people in Nigeria. Right. So the strategy that people outside the country are applying cannot be the same, because environmental factors they are a real thing. right? They are very real things. So it is important that we note those things. We are very cognizant of them. So I would say that it's a question that needs, it's multifactorial. There's a lot of factors that has to be considered before you say someone should have an A game at this, and this person and another person could have more than many things that the person is a C plus at. So, but I would say that as a young person in Nigeria, um, I would rather take a peek at you or a young person having a lot of skills that they are C at. Now, because of certain things. For starters, Nigeria it's very selective when it comes to making profits in business or in career. Very selective. There are environments that you cannot survive in, no matter this, if you are an A at a particular thing. So if you are A at uh, uh, corporate event anchoring, yeah, that you're top notch, you're the best obtainable, and you reside in a particular city that most cities in Nigeria do not need an A corporate compare. They need an MC. They've evolved to hype men. So as long as you do not have that skill, you will suffer because of the environment. But somebody who is a hype man, has is C at it, not completely the best, but just at a very appreciable level, and then he's also a C at corporate comparing, anchoring, and he's also a C at something else, and a C at something else, and a C at some 3 4 more things. The person has the chances of peaking relevance and attaining certain heights of recognition, and of course, uh, um, appropriating profit for themselves because of these circumstances surrounding. So this is why it's this old cliche that says it is dangerous to put um, your egg in one basket. So I'm always of the view that what if that basket gets broken? What if that basket gets stolen? What happens to you? You start from the beginning. You know when you know how much people, when Twitter was banned, people are making, Twitter is literally a market, it's a source of income for so many persons. They don't think about making any other side hustle because they're making money. Imagine someone who's making 11,000, 12,000 naira every day on Twitter, and in 1 month and in 1 week they're making over 100,000 naira, and they're getting to live their best life. They're taking care of their bills. In 4 weeks, that's about 400,000 naira. So they're okay. They're comfortable. So there's no need for this hustling. We no everybody did not need to hustle. We didn't come to this life to chase money. So they're comfortable. So what happens when they ban Twitter? They're out of the market. They can't make money. They can't make sales. But imagine this person are making money on Twitter, making money on Facebook, making money on Instagram, making money on TikTok. But this time around, not 11,000 or 10,000, maybe 5,000, maybe 3,000 in all of these things. Whatever happens to any of these handles, they will still survive. So, as a young person in Nigeria, you need to survive, and this is it. This is survival tactics in your ecosystem. So this is basically me trying to run everything down. What do you think? If you want me to expatiate more on this, we'll see what we'll do about it.
Well, basically, here's my opinion. I don't think your interest on any skill or yes, or any skill or any trade should be how good you are, either an A or a C. But I think the most important thing is are you determined to learn the skill? Do you have passion for it? Because a lot of us are learning what we don't really have passion for. So it's not because we are well graded on the particular skill that we're learning it. But that could also be a plus. But I don't think it's necessary for you to have an A interest or you have a C interest in learning a skill. The most important thing is your passion and your determination to acquire such skill. Because one thing about skill acquisition is to solve a problem. is to solve a problem. So why do I want to go into tailoring? Have I found out some dysfunctional tailoring style in my environment or in my community, and how do I address this? So I don't necessarily have to have an A grade or a C grade to be interested in that. The most important thing is I want to solve a problem. And how do I solve this problem? Is by picking up interest, having passion, and also I'm well determined to make sure that this particular problem is solved. Well, if you're A graded in a particular skill, it could have an advantage. You could learn faster, but I don't think that should be necessary in determining whether to learn a trade or not, or whether to learn a skill rather or not. But I feel skill acquisition should be based on passion, determination, and the primary reason for any skill is to solve a problem, even before the financial benefits step in. It's just to solve a problem. you know why am I going into mechanic, or automobile? Is because I feel some automobile guys in my area are not fixing cars, where a lot of people are complaining. I feel I can do better, then let me go for this. Yes, so I don't really think it's necessary to have A grade, a C grade before you can pick up a skill. Once you have the passion, you're interested, go for it. But if you have a foreknowledge, it could serve as an advantage. But I don't think that should be a yardstick. Thank you.
All right, good evening. Let me go straight to the point and answer the question you asked me. If I get it said, do you think it's better for young people to have one great skill they are an A plus at, or many skills at they are a C at, and why? Okay, there is this thing I always tell people: when you become successful in an area of life, you become influential in many areas of life. Once we are talking about life and process of learning, there is no one that is singled out. Are you getting it? So in your pursuit of excellence in a particular niche, it must have given you an idea, an average idea on many other areas. Are you getting it? So with that said, I think it's good you pursue to become an A plus in an area. And when you become an A plus in an area, it will give you the added advantage. Okay, it will give you an advantage to soaring higher than your contemporaries. Average is never rewarded. Are you getting it? Average is always rewarded in average format. Anybody who is average does not make a good influence on people. Influence is as a result of the the problems you could solve. Are you getting it? And nobody follow people, someone who can solve problem and not solve it adequately. All right. So I think that a young person should master a particular field, be an expert in it, and then while you are growing in your expertise, or when you are building an expertise around a particular area or a particular niche, you must understand that you as well will be developing other skills. It's hardly now you mention a particular skill that is standing in isolation. No skill stands and in isolation. Are you getting it? So what am I trying to say? While you are building expertise in a particular area, in a particular field, you will see yourself somehow building expert, trying to build understanding on some other areas, even though you are not building expertise totally on them. So what I'm trying to say is, if you really want to go far, if you really want to be an amazing young person, I think you should be known for a particular thing. Let there be a niche. It's just like trying to be everywhere. If you're everywhere, you are nowhere, no matter how. Okay, let me just paint it this way to make it clearer. If you are average, or in when we're talking about C is just an average person in many areas. If you are average in many areas, there is no area they can call you that you are an expert or you are an authority in. Are you getting it? So it becomes very expedient that you are very very decisive in building expertise in an area. Are you getting it? When you have built total expertise in an area, it will help you for people to say, if you want to do this, you identify with him on this. I will identify with her on this. Are you getting it? But when you are all over the place, you don't have expertise on any area, people cannot associate you with any area. Are you getting it? You want to do copywriting, you are not good at it, you are just average. Nobody wants to Nobody wants to employ an average copywriter. Nobody wants to employ an average public speaker. Nobody wants to get the services of an average person. Are you getting it? So I think it's better you build expertise in an area. Let people say, if you want to do this, is an authority in this. Are you getting it? Be an authority in a particular field, and then there is no how, because you build you build a kind of authority in a particular niche and you become a total novice in other niche. No, education is continuous. If you come from physics, get to mathematics, from mathematics, even in chemistry, you see these relationships. Are you getting it? So there is no particular an arm of education that is standing alone. That is the way it is in the world of skill acquisitions. Are you getting it? If you want to be a copywriter, you must as well try to be a good storyteller. Are you getting it? If you want to be a good copywriter, you must be very good in public speaking. Are you getting it? These two things work in pursuit. Are you getting it? So this is what I can say in my own understanding. I think that a young person who wants to have a glorious destiny, you want to have a glorious lifestyle, a life of influence, you should be an authority that will be an A in a particular niche. It will help you to be known in a particular place and very well. When you are known as an authority in an area, people will come to you, they will need your services, and when they are needing your services, you have influence over them. Are you getting it? But if you do not have influence over anybody on any niche, nobody wants to employ an average person. Are you getting it? So if average in many areas, you are not an authority in any area, and that cannot be a life of excellence. Thank you.
Okay, so for me, I think, good evening, I think that they should have many skills that they are at sea, because for me now, I have a skill as a governance coach. I do video editing, I do graphic designing, I do StreamYard, like I do a lot of things, and all those things I do, all those other skills I have helped my business. You get? So I don't think they should have just one skill that they are at. It's good to be known for one thing. Yes, I'm actually known for one thing, but I have other things I'm doing, which I even sell, the skill to other people. I do tutorials on video editing and graphic designing, but I have one thing I'm known for. It's good to have one thing, but having many skills that you are at sea is good. Whereby, and it's not like having it and just keeping it there. It's more like having it there, developing it. For example, you don't just say you've learned video editing and you're not improving. So it's even something I do frequently in my business. So as I'm doing it, I'm growing more, I'm learning better. So you have to have plenty skills, because trust me, all these things will help you in the long run for that same one thing you're doing. So it's important to have many skills that you are at sea.
I am Jibri Oluwatobi, a certified life coach and a business consultant. I believe that it is better to have a specific skill that you're good at than having many skills that you are average at. Because at the peak of your performance, people do not hire an amateur, but they hire professional. So it is very important to find a skill you are good at. More importantly, as a young entrepreneur coming up, you can leverage on several skills. But at the point of your future and at the point at which you must be recognized, you have to be recognized to a specific skill, not skills. If you look at the football, you will hear the name of Messi, Ronaldo, and the rest. They are good at their specific skill, not skills. If you look at musicians, Whiskey, Two Face, Olamide, and all of them, they are good at specific not skills. So the point is for you to be recognized at a larger stage, you must have a specific skill you're good at. And this is why if you see an actor acting in Nollywood and yet a singer, you will know and you will know that such singer or such actor has lose its place of relevance. The same way if you look at our pastors, overseers, prophets, joining politician or politics, what do you see? You see someone who has lose significance at the stage of recognition. So for you to be recognized, you have to have a specific skill, not skills you're good at. So I am saying having a great skill that you are good at will pave way for you than having skills you are average at, because people do not pay those who are average, they pay those who are professional. And when you hear a name, your name must be identified to a specific niche you're good at. Think about this. So if you are good at something, all you need to do is brace up and cultivate the habit of being consistent at that thing, than for you to be average at different skills. I am Jibri Oluwatobi. Thanks for listening. I hope this is convincing enough.
Okay, so the answer to this does not have a particular format, because there are so many people that are multi-talented, and there are people that are not actually multi-talented, but they can do a particular thing and do it very well. Also, as we grow in life, we keep discovering other sides of us that we could also channel our energy into to make money or to impact lives around us. So when it comes to being multi-talented or having several skills or one particular skill, it depends on the person in question. Do you want to pursue one, or do you want to have many skills? And if, as long as you can handle all the skills that are in your position, or all the skills that you possess, then there is no problem channeling your energy towards all of them. But if you cannot, then go after one. Make sure you have mastered the skill very well. Then you can go towards other sides. You can pursue other skills.
Oh, okay. Thinking about this all through the night, and I've come to realize one thing, that having a skill is far better than when you have multiple skill, and at the same time you are not master of all the skills you acquire. It is better if you have one and master everything about the niche you have carved out for yourself, like the skill you have acquired. It is better you know the deepest part of that one skill that you are into. In terms of recommendation, in terms of influencing people, in terms of attracting global influence, it can only come when you are a master of something. It can only come when you know your onions on a skill, and it can actually come when you are solving problems. Like, there is no how you will become a freelancer and again a video editor, and at the same time you are not master of any of these two things. Like, people will not come to you, people will not recommend you to an organization or an individual who is seeking to do some certain things around that skill. But you being known, you being you being expert on a skill, it paves a way for you. Like it makes people to believe in you, and it makes you to become a consultant. Like because you are a god, you have become a god in that skill. So instead of you to soil your hand, not just really soil your hand, but instead of you to have multiple skills without you knowing more about them, without you going deep, without you understanding what they are all about, it is better you have one and master it. From there, people will get to know you more and better. I think these have answered your question.
Wow, and that's it. So many amazing responses from these leaders, from these mentors, from these coaches. I can't thank them enough for bringing out time to make these records, to make these commentaries on this topic. It's actually a great fit. So thank you so much for watching. Do well to subscribe to this channel. You could also put down what you think about the topic in the comment section. It's always allowed.